Just because I held my autistic sister's hand during the day, she sneaked into my bed at night. So in the morning the servants found out. The eldest lady, who never even steps out of the door, actually disappeared. Hear the noise outside the house. I just opened my eyes. I noticed a soft and furry ball in my arms. Lower your head. Just met Ji Yu Qingshe's watery and bright gaze. I sat up. I looked at the furry girl under the quilt in confusion. I remember hearing someone say that Ji Yu Qingshe was afraid of crowds. Ji Yu Qingshe, who never goes out, tilted her head. He gave me a confused look. Seems to be saying something. I don't understand, but she smells good. I have the urge to hug. I didn't wait for Ji Yu Qingshe's answer. Instead, he was softened. The puppy-like guy arched into his arms. Ji Yu Qingshe hugged me and never let go. He raised his head and sniffed my neck, nestled safely in my arms. When Ji Yu Qingshe came last night, the door is not closed tightly yet. At this time, Ji Yu Cheng brought someone and knocked on the door. Are you awake? Didn't wait for my answer? Ji Yu Cheng opened the door. I turned around and looked. I saw Ji Yu Cheng standing by the door, face full of disbelief. Ji Yu Qingshe sat on the bed and hugged me without letting go. There was no response at all when teammates arrived. Focused and obediently lowering his head, came in with Ji Yu Cheng. Also welcome to Ji Yu Mu Lu Ru and Lu Han. At first they thought it was strange. Aren't you looking for Ji Yu Qingshe? Why did you suddenly come to my room? Until they saw this scene. Look at me in surprise. Jiboda, what's the matter with you? Shocked but also angry. An 18-year-old boy. Hug with a girl in the morning. Does he know no shame? And this person is Ji Yu Qingshe's nominal sister. How could he seduce his sister? Lu Ru didn't dare to look at Ji Yu Cheng's reaction. Thinking about Ji Yu Chengwei. Don't think that Gilberta is not a good boy. This will lead to alienation from him. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. I can't wait to pull me away immediately. Lu Hang didn't believe that after Ji Yu Qingshe pushed him away, will be so close to me. Even though I didn't seem to care yesterday. But in his heart he was belittling Ji Yu Qingshe. It is undeniable. Ji Yu Qingshe's face has always attracted him deeply. Lu Hang glanced at me jealously, thinking in mind, just one. He's just a piece of trash that even his own mother doesn't like. Why do you want to be liked by Ji Yu Qingshe? Just like his mother, he can seduce people. Ji Yu Cheng really has a complicated look on his face. He actually didn't have much hope before coming here. Unexpectedly, I really saw my daughter in my house. Apart from being happy, I am also very unhappy. Look at Ji Yu Qingshe hugging this young man so tightly. When will he be able to hold his father's hand? It's a lie to say I'm not jealous. What he hasn't done in 19 years. This guy finished it in less than a day. A little frustrated, Ji Yu Cheng reluctantly showed a smile. The tone is also very soft. Xiaoshui, come here to daddy. Ji Yu Qingshe remained unmoved. Didn't even give him a look. Ji Yu Cheng's smile could hardly be maintained anymore. Your brother hasn't gotten up yet. Why do you come to disturb others? Let's go back to the room first. Ji Yu Qingshe's face turned. Buried in my chamber. There are so many people and it's noisy. So annoying. I was keenly aware that his mood was not quite right. Remember the scene last night. Patted him gently on the back. It's okay, don't be afraid. My voice is also soft and gentle. Ji Yu Qingshe's body slowly softened. Ji Yu Cheng completely felt that he was redundant. But he still wants to struggle. Ji Yu Qingshe can be so close to this boy herself. But should NT his father be closer than him? But Ji Yu Qingshe obviously couldn't listen to what he said. So Ji Yu Cheng said to me, young man, really can't let it. Qingshe will always stay with you. Not very convenient. Just as Ji Yu Qingshe hummed happily. I nodded in agreement. Then I gently pulled Ji Yu Qingshe. Go back with your father. Ji Yu Qingshe was a little confused. Why doesn't he hold himself? Obviously he was proactive and gentle last night. He didn't have time to think too much. I got out of bed. He was a little flustered. Subconsciously, I hurriedly followed him. Not landing for a long time. His legs went weak. I subconsciously reached out to pick him up. Ji Yu Qingshe jumped into my arms, holding a Rubik's Cube in hand. Hide behind me. Before meeting me, what he likes most when he is alone is playing with the Rubik's Cube. I patted him gently. Don't rush, take your time. System Ji Yu Qingshe. What's going on with his legs? The system checked the information. His legs are fine, but he never moves. That's why the Ji Yu family made him a wheelchair. Ji Yu Cheng stared at his legs in shock. It seems that Qingshe really likes it. This young man named Ji Boda. This proves that Qingshe has hoped to become like an ordinary person. But the premise is, I have to ask that young man to help me with this matter. Think about it this way. Ji Yu Cheng's eyes became particularly soft when he looked at me. Boda, right? You and Qingshe come to my study together. Lu Ru and Lu Han looked at me helplessly, taking away their love and affection. I feel a little excited. Ji Yu Qingshe opened her deer-like eyes. One hand holding a Rubik's Cube. The other hand grabbed the corner of my clothes. Lift your legs and walk along. Ji Yu Cheng saw this scene. Angry and funny. The study is on the 3rd floor. not far from Ji Yu Qingshui's room. It's okay when Ji Yu Cheng is at work. Always pay attention to his movements. Ji Yu Cheng was the first to speak. I will marry your mother. Just to give Ji Yu Qingshui a complete home. Ji Yu Cheng's eyes were soft. I glanced at Ji Yu Qingshui behind me. As you can see, Qingshui's psychology is a little different from ordinary people. It's the first time I've seen it. Qingshui would be so close to someone. Even Qingshui's mother back then. I have never been treated like this before. So Boda, can you help Ji Yu Qingshui? Let her be like a normal person. Even if I just don't fear and hate people so much. I was silent for a while. In the original plot, Ji Yu Qingshui is dead. Subconsciously, I held Ji Yu Qingshui's hand. The little girl looked at the Rubik's Cube in her hand intently. Feeling that the back of my hand is full. Look at me confusedly. He blinked. He handed over the Rubik's Cube in his hand. Ji Yu Cheng watched his movements. Eyes are getting brighter and brighter. What does the Rubik's Cube mean to Ji Yu Qingshui? These are his countless closed and silent days and nights. The only thing that accompanies him. It's his most important toy. I touched him. His head pushed the Rubik's Cube back. I don't want yours. Keep it for yourself. Ji Yu Qingshui is a little depressed. He looked down at the Rubik's Cube in his hand. A little confused. Doesn't he like it? But this is what he thinks is best. I turned to look at Ji Yu Cheng. I promise you, I will guide Ji Yu Qingshui well. Ji Yu Cheng is very happy. Then Robert Dado usually accompanies Xiaoshui. Ji Yu Qingshui understood, also very happy. The tips of her ears turned red with excitement. But she has nothing else. So he put the Rubik's Cube in my hand again. I smiled. Put the Rubik's Cube in your pocket. This is a gift from the little guy. Then keep it. Since Ji Yu Cheng and I talked in the study, I found that now I only want to know about Ji Yu Qingshui. Almost everything, big and small, passes through my hands. I have to put her to sleep every night. While wandering around the yard during the day, there is always a little tail following behind. Later, even the delivery of meals was left to me. The reason is that Ji Yu Qingshui is really too clingy to me. I am sitting at the table, going to have dinner. Wani looks ugly. He ran down again in a panic. Mr. Miss. She stopped eating again. This is a problem Ji Yu Qingshui often makes. Wani is also in a dilemma. Sometimes she can't even get through the door. Don't eat when you're unhappy. Because Ji Yu Qingshui is doing very well recently. In the morning, Wani put the rice on her table and came down. I thought she would eat it obediently. Turns out I just went to see it. Found her alone and depressed. Sitting in the corner without eating or drinking. Ji Yu Cheng looked at me while eating. The meaning is obvious. Hasn't Ji Yu Qingshui been with you lately? I put down the dishes. Just speak softly and I'll go take a look. Lu Ru and Lu Han looked at me with ugly expressions. As if he is dissatisfied with the relationship between me and Ji Yu Qingshui. They were angry and said they wouldn't eat anymore. I paused. The eyes are a little cold. Then he went upstairs without looking back. Ji Yu Cheng because of me. Recently, my attitude toward Lu Ru and Lu Han has softened a lot. But at this time, he couldn't help but frown. If you don't want to eat it, then don't eat it. Lu Ru's face froze. Now his son is ignoring him. Confront his husband. I don't know how to understand him anymore. Lu Han quickly rubbed his back. Speak softly, mom. Don't be angry. Dad looks bad. Lu Ru was shocked. Also regained his composure. Yes, his status in this family is not stable now. Don't lose your temper. So he smiled at his husband. I had a bad temper just now. Don't be angry? Ji Yu Cheng nodded. Let's eat. As soon as I stepped through the door, the dim light makes my eyes uncomfortable. Turn on the light and take a look. Ji Yu Qingshui is sitting in the corner. Keep your head down and say nothing. It's like going back to the beginning. I walked over. There is food on the table. There is still a serving of hot porridge. I look away. Look at Ji Yu Qingshui. Ignore me. After thinking about it for a while, I roughly understand where the problem lies. This is because, already going out, so angry, Ji Yu Qingshui didn't even look at me. I am a little depressed. I am really angry. Okay, I looked at him. Then I'll go out first. Maybe I should tell him to calm down. It's just that I just finished speaking. Ji Yu Qingshui raised her head in panic. Without thinking, he stood up and rushed towards me. I hear footsteps. When I turned around, I was hit full of arms. The two fell onto the bed together. I lowered my head and patted his head. What's wrong? He doesn't speak. I am a little helpless. Ji Yu Qingshui held my collar tightly. Try your best to get into my arms. I won't be here all day today. He thought I was missing. He is shaking a little. Am I so scared when I was stunned? I touched his head. Instead of being soft, I'll let you know in advance next time I go out. Ji Yu Qingshui raised her head and opened her mouth. Ji Bo replied, don't leave. The system screams. Host. Before, I always guided him to speak intentionally or unintentionally. But Ji Yu Qingshui always looked at me with a confused expression. I didn't expect that he would speak this time. I hold his face, lowered his head and kissed the corner of his mouth. Okay, kiss. Ji Yu Qingshui's whole body froze. Boda, why would he do this to himself? although it feels weird, but quite comfortable. Ji Yu Qingshui looked at me secretly, but I had already reached out and pulled him up. Pushed to the table. Eat well. He slowly ate with a spoon. In order to take care of Ji Yu Qingshui, what was delivered was liquid food like porridge, but very nutritious. Ji Yu Qingshui ate while eating. While still thinking about what happened just now, I caught him looking furtively, like a frightened deer. Quickly lower your head. I am a little helpless. The system almost laughed. Host, if I heard correctly, Ji Yu Qingshui didn't want to kiss you just now. It's shouting duoda. Ji Yu Qingshui doesn't eat much. Not eating all day. I've only eaten half a bowl now. Touched the circle. Rolling belly. Ji Yu Qingshui looked at me with bright eyes. My heart softens. He reached out and touched her head. Awesome. She let me go on her head with a face full of pleasure. Fuck it one moment at a time. When she is happy, eyes will narrow slightly, bright and hydrating. Suddenly I found him holding his little head high. Look at me without blinking. I asked what happened. Ji Yu Qingshui looked a little anxious. Want to kiss? His eyes drooped, sticky against my belly. Wait for Ji Yu Qingshui's mood to stabilize. I went downstairs, even though he was unhappy. But after hearing me say you can go to my room, he immediately nodded with bright eyes. Got in the elevator and went downstairs. When I returned to the first floor, 3 people haven't finished eating yet. Apparently everyone is waiting for me. He nodded towards Ji Yu Cheng, who looked expectantly. He has already eaten. Ji Yu Cheng is very happy. Look at me, more and more pleasing to the eye. I think this guy is really handsome. The more you look at it, the more pleasing it becomes to your eyes. Look fair and clean. Exquisite facial features. Mild-tempered. Why isn't such a handsome young man his son-in-law? Boda, my butt just sat down. The rice just came into my mouth. Just heard what Ji Yu Cheng said. I held my job and sat next to Ji Yu Cheng. This made Lu Ru and Lu Han very angry. When had Ji Yu Cheng ever been so gentle to them? He usually looks cold even when he calls his father Ji Yu Cheng. Lu Hang felt extremely crazy, looking at Ji Yu Cheng. Dad, I think Boda takes care of sister Qingshui. It's really hard. I smiled and it was not hard. He is very good. Lu Hang went on to say that Ji Boda also had his own things to do. If sister Ji Yu Qingshui is like today in the future, stick to Boda. It will be inconvenient for him too. I have some eyelids. Look at him expressionlessly. Lu Hang felt guilty. Why is he looking like this? I was thinking about him. He turned to look at Ji Yu Cheng. So I think, if only sister Ji Yu Qingshui could interact with others more often. Can touching it divert your attention? Ji Yu Cheng looked a little unhappy. What does this mean? Isn't his daughter a burden? Unhappy is unhappy. In fact, what Lu Han said makes sense. Boda, a young man, surrounding my sister all day long. The key point is that my sister's temperament is not very good. 1 or 2 days is fine. As time goes by, he probably won't be able to bear it. Ji Yu Cheng was silent for a moment. Lu Han is very happy about his father. I can spend more time with sister Ji Yu Qingshui. Ji Yu Cheng took a sip of soup. If you want to see, then if you go, you will be acquiescing to Lu Han's words. I stare at Lu Han. Can't take my eyes off. Very soft sound system. Where is the heroine? The system was startled by my sudden voice. The heroine hasn't reached his plot yet. In the original plot, the Ji Yu family went bankrupt. Lu Han and Lu Ru have been fighting each other for 2 years. Lu Han just met the heroine. The two met in a bar. Lu Han fell in love at first sight. The offensive is fierce. The heroine I have seen before is always noble and pampered. An unsmiling business elite or a young man from an aristocratic family. Soon to be eclectic, lively and cheerful Lu Han captured. Lu Han had graduated from university at that time. That was 4 years later. I calmly turned the spoon in my hand. The voice is a little cold. Let the hero and heroine get to know each other in advance. You can do it, system. The words that I wanted to refuse were just stuck in my mouth. The system wants not to let the host think that he is not good. So I patted my small chest very confidently. The host can rest assured. I can definitely do it. I am very satisfied. But after a while, a voice came from the system and the host got it done. Lu Han will meet the heroine soon. Actually, this is a bit illegal. The system decided to find out the reason. Host, why did you suddenly remember? Let the male and female protagonists meet in advance. I pursed my lips. I glanced at the smiling Lu Han. She's a bit of an eyesore. The system was stunned. Could it be that the host is jealous? After eating, Ji Yu Cheng went to the study to handle documents. I had just taken 2 steps when Lu Ru stopped me. To be honest, Lu Ru's mood is a bit complicated. Just now at the dinner table, what Ji Yu Cheng did to me made him a little jealous. At the same time, he felt, this son who has always been inconspicuous. Now it has become the weight of his demon pet. He had few interactions with Ji Yu Cheng several times. 8 out of 10 sentences are all about me. This made Lu Ru feel a little unbalanced. The better off I am. It seems to remind him more and more. He was wrong to send me to boarding school. He doesn't understand. Why can't I be like before? Carefully please him. follow him obediently and call him mom. Now I am just trying to please Ji Yu Qingshui. Just got some attention from Ji Yu Cheng. He remembered that when dinner was coming to an end just now. Okay, stop him and say something, mom. As long as my relationship with sister Qingshui is become as good as Boda, dad will definitely like me more. This sentence awakened Lu Ru. He thought if Ji Yu Qingshui, he has a good relationship with Lu Han, who is closer to him. Wouldn't it be more beneficial to him? So Lu Ru looked at me. Boda. I took a step back. Look at him doubtfully. Lu Ru smiled at her mother. Hope you know, mom still loves you. I looked at him speechlessly. Are you sick tonight? Like the smile on the face. Sure enough, after 6 years of leaving, my wings have become hardened. How dare you talk to him like this? I am a little impatient. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. I just promised to go find Ji Yu Qingshui. Lu Ru refused to let me go. Block in front of me. Said a lot of specious things. I can't hear a word. Can I hit him in the system? The system was shocked, although he also thinks this Lu Ru is extremely bad. But host, calm down. This is a society ruled by law. And no matter what, this is what the original owner himself scolded. This is not good, right? I think it's pretty good. I am expressionless. The gilded iron sword appeared behind Lu Ru. Lu Ru talked and talked. I just feel pain in my back. He turned back sharply. Who hit me? Lu Ru looked back at me. Did you just see someone hit me? I shook my head. Just talking. He hit Lu Ru on the back of the head with a bang. Lu Ru stepped back in horror. Still no one. Lu Ru suddenly remembered. I met a fortune teller before. My father had just passed away at that time. That stinky fortune teller actually said that he had a bad luck. Later, after marrying Lu Han's father, something happened to his dad too. Lu Ru gradually believed it. Strange things can happen. Lu Ru shrank her neck. Left in a hurry. I guess it's almost time for Lu Han's side. So he quickly waved his hand and left. Let's go, let's go. I glanced at his leaving figure. Turn around and go upstairs. Just arrived on the second floor. I just met a dishy face. Lu Han came out of my room as if he had eaten a fly. The two stared at each other with big eyes and small eyes. Lu Han snorted coldly. Didn't pay attention to me. Left quickly. Did you take the wrong medicine? I pushed the door open. I saw Ji Yu Qingshui sitting on the sofa and huddled up. Hearing the sound, he immediately looked at me aggrievedly. Hug, things in the house are a bit messy. I know roughly what happened. I reached out and held her cold fingertips. Holding people in my arms. Ji Yu Qingshui was trembling a little. Crowd fear is still not cured. Only when I am here. Only then could she just stay in my arms and feel better. And she especially hates Lu Han's smell. It's like it's a scent that doesn't suit her nature. I hugged you for a while. Ji Yu Qingshui just stabilized. My breath smells good. Her face is a little red. As soon as I leave, Ji Yu Qingshui fell into her own little world. Everything around him seems to have nothing to do with him. He rubbed his palms subconsciously. The only Rubik's Cube was given to Ji Boda. Head on knees. Why did you kiss me? The tips of Ji Yu Qingshui's ears moved. The cloudy eyes are slightly brighter. Because I like you. Ji Yu Qingshui raised her head and glanced at my chin. Does Boda like him too? Ji Yu Qingshui used a little force. I obeyed and was pushed to the sofa by him. He likes me very much. So Ji Yu Qingshui licked her red lips. Look at me with bright eyes. Can I kiss you? Can I kiss you? Ji Yu Qingshui blinked her eyes. Face full of desire. While talking, his little hands were still grabbing my clothes and pulling them back and forth. System covers nose. OMG, so cute. I can't do it anymore. I looked at him, nodded. Ji Yu Qingshui was even more at a loss. How should Ozzy kiss? Look at his stupid look. I sighed. She lowered her head and pressed it on his lips. Never reconciled. Then Lu Hang left and returned. I happened to see this scene. He opened his mouth in surprise. Ji Boda is so shameless. Doesn't he know his relationship with Ji Yu Qingshui? Lu Hang was filled with doubts. No wonder he is willing. Surrounded by a mentally ill person all day long. It turns out he did it on purpose. Lu Hang squatted at the crack of the door. Look at me secretly. Suppress your emotions. He quietly left the scene of the crime. I thought if my father knew. Can he still pester sister Ji Yu Qingshui like this every day? Thinking of this, Lu Han's footsteps are a little brisk. She can't wait to see the way I was kicked out of the house by Ji Yu Cheng. Just like when her father sent her to boarding school. A place like that. This is where people like me should stay. Lu Hang has just left. The prompt from the system came right after. The host has just arrived. I nodded. Got it. The system hesitated for a moment. He saw you and Ji Yu Qingshui being intimate. My eyelids drooped. I know. The system wondered. Doesn't the host know that if Lu Hang files a complaint? Is Ji Yu Cheng likely to prevent you from meeting Ji Yu Qingshui? Then the strategy plan will be shelved. Lu Hang can't stop me. I paused, being kissed in a daze. Ji Yu Qingshui opened her eyes in confusion. He hooked my neck in dissatisfaction. Still want to kiss. I look warm. Kissed him on the lips. Okay, it's time for you to rest. Ji Yu Qingshui opened her dark and wet eyes. Look at me and say nothing. I extend my index finger. Stab him on the forehead. Push his head away a little. It's quite comfortable. Ji Yu Qingshui moved her head closer. Keep letting me poke you. It's funny, I thought he was going to make trouble again. Said softly, kiss you next time. He obediently withdrew his head. Climb into bed and cover yourself with the quilt obediently. Although this is my room. Ji Yu Qingshui patted the place next to her. Even if Boda sleeps once. Even sleeping twice. Anyway, we were together last time. Helplessly wearing pajamas. Just lay in bed. The girl next to me is like a puppy. Gulu rolled over in a flash. Got into my arms. Hold my waist tightly. Just about to close my eyes. Ding dong, congratulations to the host. Fragments of goodwill are worth a heart. I looked down at her. So easily satisfied. Luhan is so good, his steps are in a hurry. Arrive at Ji Yu Cheng's study. Ji Yu Cheng's study is very big. As soon as you enter, you will be filled with the bookish atmosphere of a man of letters. The ancestors of the Ji Yu family were scholars. A scholarly family for generations. Accumulated countless wealth. Arriving in the Gucheng area. He doesn't like to be frivolous. Full of copper stench. Ji Yu Qingshui's grandfather once particularly disliked him. But it is undeniable. The Ji Yu family is in Ji Yu Cheng's hands. The accumulation of wealth has risen to an unprecedented level. Lu Hang believes. Once Ji Yu Cheng knows what I did to Ji Yu Qingshui, he will definitely not let the two of them come into contact again. When Ji Yu Cheng heard the knock on the door, just put down the phone. Feeling a little bad, Lu Hang's head looked in. Dad, is me. If you want to come in quickly. Lu Hang came to Ji Yu Cheng's desk. He didn't notice the disgust in Ji Yu Cheng's eyes at all. Dad, are you busy? Ji Yu Chen raised his head slightly. Slightly tired. Didn't you see? His files are piling up. Something suddenly went wrong in the company. The pressure prevented him from caring about anything else. Dad, I just went to take care of Sister Qingshui. I heard it was about Ji Yu Qingshui. Chief Gus' face softened a little. Stupid fans are interested, but there was still a hint of perfunctoriness in his words. Lu Hang frowned, somewhat dissatisfied. If it is Ji Boda, Dad must have a different expression. He calmed down. Then he said, Dad, Sister Ji Yu Qingshui is still not very close to me. Ji Yu Cheng still didn't pay much attention. This is normal too. He is not even close to me as his father. Lu Han's face looked a little ugly. Whispering secretly in my heart, Dad's words really don't sound right. I really envy Boda. Lu Hang scratched his head. Suddenly he said in an inadvertent tone, I just saw it. Boda and Sister Ji Yu Qingshui are hugging each other. Boda also kissed Sister Ji Yu Qingshui. Ji Yu Cheng looked at him with shock on his face. Couldn't help but stand up. What did you just say? Boda and Xiao Shui kissed each other. Lu Hang pretended to be shocked and nodded. Yes, it's in Boda's room. Ji Yu Cheng's face was a little serious. He lowered his voice and said, don't tell anyone about this. Lu Hang saw Ji Yu Cheng's face. Nod with satisfaction. A confused but well-behaved look. I listened to my father.